Okay, guys. Hey, we are live. We're going to get to the Pro-1 thing in like 10 seconds. But next Sunday night, I got to tell you, we're going to have a special show on Bowable keyboards. Keyboards, real violin bows. I'll have a couple of them here to demo. You do not want to miss next week's show. We'll have a short video at the end of the live stream tonight. So you can see one in action. Don't miss next week. All right, let me see if I can get you back over to the regularly scheduled program. Well, hey guys, welcome to the studio. Today, we're going to take a look at the Behringer Pro-1 desktop synthesizer. This is essentially a clone of Sequential Circuits Pro-1, popular in the early 80s, based on the architecture of the infamous Prophet 5. Let's take a look at it. And believe me, if you were listening to music back in the early 80s, you were definitely hearing sequential circuits. You were definitely hearing Prophet 5s. This was a lower cost option. This originally came to us as a keyboard instrument with 3 octaves available, a little bit of cost-cutting measures in place, such as a plastic front panel, some issues associated with that. When the Behringer came to the scene and it's all ready to go, it's metal. It might actually be tougher than the original. What about the whole big Behringer debate? Are they getting away with stealing intellectual property? Are they cloning stuff? However you feel about it, one thing that you can't argue with is these are new, they're warranted. This went for about $300. Used versions of the original keyboard are going for well over $1,000 and are going to require some maintenance. Bottom line, guys, if you're looking for a decent synthesizer and you're looking for something a little bit off the beaten path, away from the usual suspects like Moog and ARP and Korg and Roland and Yamaha, Sequential Circuits was driving a lot of the music that we heard in the 80s. Unfortunately, they went out of business not too much longer after that, but they did reappear as Dave Smith instruments. If you want to find out more, there's no shortage of videos on the technical aspects of what's packed into this unit, and what you're going to hear is there's a lot of stuff that sound like a lot of other brands and models that are out there. 2 oscillators, LFOs, and envelopes, and an onboard arpeggiator, and an onboard double sequencer. This one's got a lot of action for a small package. Special thanks to Andre Cholmondeley, who joined us from a previous interview we had done back in 2021 with some insights that he had on Behringer. And we do talk about this stuff. It's fascinating to hear what a master synthesist feels about this brand. He owns a little bit of it. He thinks it's pretty decent stuff. I'm going to defer to his expertise.
The Deep Mind, I concur. Great synth, and Behringer, controversial. We could do an hour just on that.
We could do an hour on that. I know.
But I'll say, but I'll zoom right in, and these are a lot of sound engineers. You have people here who are all about sound, and undoubtedly them buying Midas and their X32, the M32 world, like them or not, it has changed our world. I see those boards everywhere. Having said that, in their synth world, I really wish they would focus on more of their original stuff, because it's great. DeepMind,
right?
The Crave,
yeah.
And the I forget what's the third one.
They've got a few. They've actually got module. Yeah. They got like modules and everything now. I can't even keep up.
Yeah, I don't. I'll stand corrected, but I don't know if they have any original modules. They do duplications of ARP 2500 and
right.
Moogs. But anyway, they've got
the Korg MS-20.
Right, so they do.
Yeah.
But they have these 3 original synths, and I'm like, these are actually pretty interesting little boxes. Interestingly enough, here's the one Behringer I have is a clone of the famous Moog 921. Look at that. You couldn't tell it apart.
No, yeah.
And
Behringer's very cloney with they have like a mini Moog clone, and
they do. And you know what? No other place on earth to get a modular mini Moog and get the Moog 921 and get that sound. So with all the controversy, I said, well, let me hear what it sounds like. It's incredible.
It gets my vote. Don't forget to join us on Facebook at Recording Tips, and like and subscribe if you don't mind. If we get more subscribers, it helps us lure more experts to the channel so we can get their input. Thanks, guys. We got a lot of work to do. Let's get to it. Hey guys, welcome to Live. Joseph's here and Oren. Nice to see you guys here. I heard that Max might actually be just trying to stay up late enough to watch us, and he'll say hello, I'm sure, if he's here. I had a lot of fun putting this together. My estimation of that Pro-1 synthesizer is it is a very, very capable synthesizer, and it does one little trick that I failed to mention. It has a mode where there's always 2 oscillators on, and it's monophonic, so if you are playing it, it's 1 note at a time. But you can click a switch, what they call poly, which is not really poly. It's something called paraphonic, which if I stop playing single notes and start playing 2 notes at a time, it'll put one of the oscillators on one of the notes and one of the oscillators on the other notes, really allowing me to play 2 notes at a time. That was a huge leap forward for anything that was like really designed as a monophonic instrument, to be able to play 2-note harmonies on it, but 1 oscillator each. But it stayed pretty thick when it did. Oh, Evan! Wow, it's cool to have Evan, upcoming one of the greater producers from that we know from our Facebook group, Recording Tips, which, by the way, if you guys like this type of discussion, you should be joining us in Recording Tips on Facebook. But I got to break some kind of really big, cool news. I just got an email from John Francis, he's like a local legend where I come from, known for playing like the most oddball, like 8-string bowable. I don't even know what these things are, and he's got. You know what? I would have to ask him what half of his stuff is, but he's always playing stuff with a bow, and he and I had this thing in common in our past, and I am going to do my best to try to load this up for you. I know that we are dealing with live here. Bear with me for one moment. Next Sunday night, we're going to be on this topic, by the way. We are going to be looking at bowable keyboards. You heard me. These are actual keyboards that can be played with an actual bow. I'm going to try to load that video up. A lot of people have been asking me. And as a matter of fact, I am able to do it. So without further ado, this is just a teaser of what you guys are going to be seeing next week, and I am really excited. I'm going to have 2 of these units here in the studio to demonstrate for you. But let me get you over to John Francis's video he just sent me.
A lot of people have been asking me, what the heck is a bowed keyboard? It is a monophonic 2-octave keyboard that really wants to be a guitar. It's got an input jack just like a guitar, it's got a tone and volume knob just like one, and it's got a single string that runs through the body using a standard guitar tuning peg. On the opposite end is a humbucker pickup and then a single saddle piece where the string sits in. Now if you take a look at the inside, when you hit the keys, the hammers attached strike a string that runs parallel to an upside down guitar fretboard. It does take practice using a bow, so if you have experience with a cello or a violin, that does help. But you can use all of your standard guitar effects, just like the music that you're hearing now was done.
Yeah, how cool is that thing? The company was American Keyworks. This was about 10 years ago. Less than 30 of them were built. And they made their ways into some pretty cool players' hands. John Francis, a great experimental player. We also got them into hands of Matt Beck with Matchbox 20 and Kendall Scott from Nectar loves these things, and I think he's actually got a couple of them. There were not a lot of them built. I'm going to have 2 of them here in the studio to demo for you next week. I'm absolutely blown away by it, and make sure you do not miss that show, and you definitely want to catch that one live. I will be able to answer all your questions about the unit because I hold the patent on those keyboards. I was the guy that was building them. It's not a promo. I'm not trying to sell them. As a matter of fact, I don't even think that I could build you one now with the way the availability of those parts work. So however many there are, that's how many there are. And if you see one used, remember they are that cool, and there's less than 30 of them in the world. Hey, Brian is here. Oh man, full house. Guys, if you're arriving late, stop, watch this video from the beginning, please. We're doing some very cool stuff tonight. And with that, I'm very thankful that all you guys have come out. Recording tips on Facebook. I'm going to link Andre Chumley's stuff below. Make Weird Music is his brand. Very cool stuff. All right, guys, we're going to continue this discussion over in Facebook. Thank you so much for coming out. I had a blast making this video, and we got a lot of work to do. Let's get to it.